Quick question before we start. If your car got totaled tomorrow, your dog swallowed a sock and needed surgery, you slipped on ice and broke your wrist, and you couldn't work for 3 months because of it, would you survive it financially? Sounds like a nightmare pileup, right? But this is literally the exact situation insurance was invented for, and yet most people buy it, pay for it every single month, and still don't actually understand what they're paying for. Today, we're cracking open 9 major types of insurance: life, health, auto, home, renters, travel, pet, disability, and umbrella. And by the end, you'll understand exactly what each one protects, what it doesn't, and which ones you actually need versus which ones are just extra noise. I'm your Vault Keeper, and this is every insurance type explained. Let's unlock it, strip away all the confusing paperwork for a second. Insurance is really just one simple idea. You pay a small, predictable amount of vault coins regularly, called a premium, so that if something disastrous happens, the insurance company covers the much bigger cost instead of you having to pay it all at once out of your own pocket. Think of it like a group of people throwing a little money into a shared pot every month, most months. Nobody needs to touch that pot. But when someone in the group actually needs it, a car crash, a hospital visit, a house fire, the pot is there to cover them. That's the entire business model. You're not betting on bad things happening. You're protecting yourself in case they do. Now let's go type by type because each one protects a completely different part of your life. Life insurance is the one type that isn't really about you. It's about the people who depend on you. If you pass away, life insurance pays out a lump sum called a death benefit to your chosen beneficiaries. That money can cover funeral costs, replace lost income, pay off a mortgage, or fund your kids' education. There are 2 main flavors here. Term life insurance covers you for a set period, say 20 years, and it's usually cheap. A healthy 30-year-old can get $1 million of coverage for around $47 a month. Whole life insurance, on the other hand, covers you for your entire life and builds up cash value over time, but it costs significantly more. For most young families, term life is the practical choice. Maximum protection, minimum cost, exactly when your kids or mortgage need it most. Here's a number that might shock you. The average marketplace health insurance premium in the US just jumped over 21% this year, pushing the average monthly cost above $750 for an individual plan. Healthcare in America is famously expensive, and health insurance exists to stand between you and a hospital bill that could otherwise wipe out your entire savings account. Health insurance covers doctor visits, prescriptions, surgeries, emergency care, and preventive checkups. The tricky part is understanding your plan structure. Your premium is what you pay monthly no matter what. Your deductible is what you pay out of pocket before insurance kicks in. And your copay is the small fee you pay per visit even after that. Higher premium plans usually mean lower deductibles, and lower premium plans mean you're gambling that you won't need much care. It's genuinely one of the most important financial decisions you'll make every single year. If you drive a car in the US or UK, auto insurance isn't just recommended, it's legally required. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Auto insurance premiums have climbed over 64% since 2020. That coffee shop chat about insurance is getting expensive isn't just small talk anymore. It's backed by real data. Auto insurance typically has a few core pieces. Liability coverage pays for damage you caused to someone else's car or injuries in an accident. That's your fault. Collision coverage pays for damage to your car regardless of fault. And comprehensive coverage protects against non-crash events: theft, fire, hail, or that one deer that had zero respect for your bumper. Most states require at least liability coverage, but if you're still paying off your car loan, your lender will usually require full coverage too. Your home is probably the single most expensive thing you'll ever own, and home insurance is what stands between you and losing it all to a fire, a storm, or a break-in. In 2026, the average home insurance premium in the US sits around $3,057 a year. And that number has climbed for 5 years straight, driven largely by more extreme weather events and rising repair costs. Home insurance typically covers the physical structure of your house, your personal belongings inside it, and liability if someone gets injured on your property. It's worth noting, standard home insurance usually does not cover flooding or earthquakes automatically. Those require separate add-on policies, which catches a lot of homeowners completely off guard right when they need coverage the most. Now here's one people constantly overlook: renter's insurance. If you don't own your home, you might assume you don't need coverage, since the building itself isn't your responsibility. But think about it. Your landlord's insurance covers the walls and the roof. It does not cover your laptop, your furniture, your clothes, or your belongings if there's a fire, flood, or break-in. Renter's insurance is remarkably cheap, often less than $20 a month, and it covers your personal property, plus liability if, say, a guest gets injured in your apartment. For the tiny cost, it's genuinely one of the best value for money insurance products that exists, and yet a huge percentage of renters skip it entirely, right up until the day they desperately wish they hadn't. Travel insurance is the one people skip most often, right up until the moment they desperately need it. Picture this: you're on a dream trip, and suddenly your flight gets canceled, your luggage disappears, or you get sick abroad and need medical care in a country where you don't even speak the language. Travel insurance typically covers trip cancellations, lost baggage, emergency medical expenses abroad, and sometimes even emergency evacuation. For international trips, especially anywhere outside your home country's healthcare system, this coverage can be the difference between a minor inconvenience and a financial disaster in a foreign hospital. It's usually a small cost compared to the size of the trip itself, which makes it one of the easiest insurance decisions to justify. Next, the one that surprises a lot of first-time pet owners: pet insurance. Vet care has quietly become almost as expensive as human healthcare. Emergency surgery for a dog that swallowed something it shouldn't have can easily run into the thousands of dollars, paid entirely out of pocket if you're not covered. Pet insurance typically works differently from human health insurance. You usually pay the vet bill up front, then submit a claim and get reimbursed a percentage, often 70 to 90%, depending on your plan. It's optional, but for anyone with a young, accident-prone pet or an older pet more prone to health issues, it can quietly save thousands of vault coins over the pet's lifetime. Here's one almost nobody talks about, and it might honestly be the most overlooked insurance on this entire list: disability insurance. Think about it this way: you probably insure your car, your phone, even your house. But what about the thing that actually pays for all of that: your ability to work? Disability insurance replaces a portion of your income, usually 60 to 70%, if you become unable to work due to illness or injury. Statistically, you're actually far more likely to experience a temporary disability at some point in your working life than you are to die young. Yet almost everyone insures their life before they ever think about insuring their income. If you don't have this through your employer already, it's worth seriously looking into, because a paycheck that suddenly stops is often more financially devastating than any single medical bill. And finally, the one that sounds fancy but is actually beautifully simple: umbrella insurance. Imagine you're in a serious car accident and the damages and medical costs exceed the maximum limit on your auto policy. Without extra protection, you personally become responsible for covering the rest, which could mean your savings, your home, even future wages, all on the line. Umbrella insurance sits on top of your existing auto, home, or renter's policy and kicks in once those policies max out, adding an extra $1 to $5 million of liability protection, often for surprisingly little money each month. It's less about everyday small claims and more about protecting your entire financial future from that one catastrophic worst-case scenario lawsuit or accident. Alright, Vault Keeper, let's simplify this whole video into one clear takeaway. Some of these are legally required, some are financially essential, and some are optional but smart. Auto insurance is mandatory if you drive. Home insurance is typically required if you have a mortgage, and renter's insurance is often required by landlords too. Health insurance, while not always legally mandatory anymore, is financially essential given how expensive US healthcare is. Life insurance becomes essential the moment someone else depends on your income: a spouse, kids, aging parents. Disability insurance deserves way more attention than it gets, especially if you don't have employer coverage already. And travel, pet, and umbrella insurance are optional, but each protects against a real, specific, and often expensive situation. Here's the pattern that ties every single one of these together. And once you see it, insurance stops feeling confusing forever. You're always trading a small, predictable cost now for protection against a large, unpredictable cost later. That's it. That's the entire concept. Dressed up in 9 different outfits depending on what part of your life you're protecting, the real skill isn't avoiding insurance to save money short term. It's choosing the right amount of coverage for your actual life. Not too little that you're exposed, and not so much that you're wasting vault coins on things you'll never need. So there you have it. Life, health, auto, home, renters, travel, pet, disability, and umbrella insurance, fully unlocked. 9 completely different risks, one identical strategy underneath, small predictable cost now, protection from disaster later. If this unlocked something for you, hit subscribe. Every Monday and Thursday, we crack open a new financial system together, one vault at a time. Stay sharp, stay secured. I'll see you inside the next vault.